Here we go with a driving review of the Kia EV6 German Autobahn included here with Thomas and Autogefühl. Is it better than the sibling Hyundai Ioniq 5? And is it maybe even the best EV overall now? Let's find out. Let's go. Thanks, by the way, to the Heinen dealership in Germany for supplying us the vehicle. We do not get any money, but I wanted to return the favor because they're really nice guys. So check out the video description and the pinned comment for the link, especially our friends in Germany. They can then buy this vehicle, for example, at them. So let's take a look at the front right here. Headlamps, LED standard, optional dual LED, which we also see here now. And also this very cool daytime running light right there. This is the GT line. That means we have different styling here in the lower part, a sportier atmosphere. Otherwise you would have a front grille which is more like curved like this in the lower part. Here more sporty accentuations on the side and also this lower element here. Overall a very cool and clean look. New Kia logo there as well. And the red color also fits the vehicle very well, doesn't it? The length here is at 4.68 meters or 184 inches, and the interesting thing is the Hyundai Ioniq 5 is basically the same platform, same technology vehicle, but here the Kia EV6 has a little bit shorter wheelbase but a little bit more overall length. But they're just tiny nuances actually, but very interesting in the driving part especially, and also what the interior part is to come. I will talk about the differences Kia EV6 and the Ioniq 5. Here the wheels, 19-inch, you should also stick with these. Tell you later on more about it in the driving part. Option, you can also get 20-inch or 21-inch for the GT, the most powerful version. Talking about that, this one here today is the one with rear-wheel drive. You can also get all-wheel drive, and you have 2 electric motors, and the GT has 2 electric motors and the highest horsepower figure. And there are also 2 different batteries available, 58 kilowatt hours or 77 kilowatt hours. We have the bigger battery here today, and considering the overall range, it is also recommended to go for the bigger battery at this moment. Soon also more about the range figures. Here in the side profile, once again, very streamlined look. It's a little bit more wind efficient than the Ioniq 5 because of this rear ending here. Some flying element right there, very strong hip area here, and also we have these adaptive door handles. They also go in and out depending on if the car is open or closed. Wow, look at that rear styling here with the light strip, really impressive. So super cool design, I think, very unique definitely, and also very clean in the lower area here, the GT line once again with the sporty black accentuations here. As for the acceleration figures, with the small battery and the rear electric motor only, so rear drive only, you start around 8.5 seconds, then you go 7.3 with this one here, big battery and rear wheel drive, then you go 5.2 with the all-wheel drive version and 3.5 with the all-wheel drive GT. And here, by the way, with the remote park function, you can actually move your car with the key. So you hold it then here, forward button, and then it's... So I'm not driving, you know, as you can see, obviously. And then you can move it out of like a parking lot or something, which is super narrow or so. And the same way goes then also in reverse. So a pretty cool feature, definitely. So how far you want to go? Let's put it in a nice review position again, right? Not hit that Porsche there. How does it work, by the way? So you have to press and hold this button first, then the car comes to life, and then you hold one of these 2 buttons. Sometimes it also doesn't work at first instance for me. I had that with Hyundai and also with the Genesis vehicles. Sometimes you need to try sometimes, and the car needs to be closed for that before. Interestingly hidden is here the charging flap. Wow, that's cool, right? And you also have a charging meter right here. That's nice, 11 kilowatt AC. And then 240 kilowatt DC charging here. So you can go from 10 to 80% state of charge in under 20 minutes. However, only when the battery is already warm, when you have powered this car on the motorway. And then you have the V2L, the vehicle to load adapter. So kind of reverse charging. Here, you put it in and then you have this flap here. And then there's a normal, cable charger in here, so you can have your laser equipment, maybe like standard pedaling board, you want to charge there with that, or some, I don't know, camping equipment, whatever you like, charging batteries for cameras. Really cool solution, definitely. By the way, to unlock it again, you have to unlock it at the front door, at the inside of the doors, then press the unlock and then you can pull it out again. Here you can see door handles. They are one with the vehicle when you close it, and here when you open it they come towards you then a little bit. And from the feedback here, actually quite good. And door closing sound, solid. Then towards the interior, here somehow soft at the inside, not too soft. Here is then a little bit softer for your elbow actually. Controls for the mirrors and so on, rather classic, that's good. And then, yeah, it seems really clean and nice, that interior. Here soon more to this dual screen setup. Also interesting materials being used here, so structured material that looks quite fancy. Steering wheel, open spoke design, still some manual buttons here on that. Really love that, no capacitive BS. You know, hashtag capacitive BS is a thing here at Autogefühl, but no thing of that here at the steering wheel. Drive mode selector also here. And then the seats, they have this two-color design right here. In this case, they are the ones with microfiber. They are the most comfortable, the coziest ones actually, and they can even be cooled. So microfiber plus cooling, best summer setup, really cool. They are available in different colors, showing you here also from the US configurator, for example. You can get a bright leatherette, a black leatherette, but then also combinations of black plus white or white plus black, and also this microfiber variant. And then there's also the GT, the bucket seat. In Germany there's also a fabric entry level seat. But the good thing is the whole interior is animal free, sustainable materials, no animal was harmed, really good, looking forward, and also better than the Ioniq 5. Ioniq 5 does not have an animal free steering wheel, and also the EU versions of the Ioniq 5 have animal leather, whereas this one here does not. Ioniq 5 in the US has leatherette, but here completely and also in all markets. So way to go Kia in this respect, and the materials feel really sophisticated, extremely good. Again, for the comfort, the microfiber seat will be the best. Brings some more coziness in the interior, but the leatherette surfaces also feel really high class. And if you want to have this wiping clean effect or something, or like it more from the visual aspects, it's also totally fine. As for the position here, with 1.86 m or 6'1", there's enough headroom left. It's a very comfortable seating position, and I feel the seats are also a little bit more comfortable than in the Ioniq 5, maybe a little bit. In the Ioniq 5 you also have this this lounge seat thing that you have an additional calf rest here, some kind of thing. But here you have something similar. So when you use this button here in the lower area, then you do not have that special enlengthment there. But goodbye, you at least also have this lying back position. Interior overview, really clean atmosphere, 2x 12-inch screens, zoom more to that, and more of that structure right here. That's cool. Also, more coming up in the lower console. This is a very interesting solution. Steering wheel here, up and down, in and out, very smooth transition. And recuperation is changed with the pedals right here. More to that in the driving part. And the digital instruments, right side the range, left side then the speed. Of course, battery is at the moment 62%, and the consumption figure can be lower. This is like winter time and also hitting more acceleration pedal. I had an average that was a little bit lower before. Zoom more to the effective range in the driving part. You can switch around here a little bit, but not too much to switch here actually. It changes a little bit according to the driving modes, like this here, for example, in the sport mode. And then there's a head-up display. It's also clear to read, and it's very good to have that head-up display, because here with that steering wheel it doesn't appear like that on camera, but from my head position and how I have the steering wheel set, I have very often a view of the speed like this, so the speed is then kind of half blocked by the steering wheel, so I tend to observe the speed then rather in the head-up display. Oh, by the way, here the heated steering wheel is really strong and also goes to the top part area here. Very nice and cozy for winter times. And here to that screen, well, this is a very modern vehicle, and this is just okay, It is a touchscreen, but it still has the feeling of a couple of years ago, You have also a digital climate menu here, but you don't really need it. Soon showing you why. Yeah, and the GPS and also the map. I think this is a little bit disappointing, This is outdated in comparison to what this car otherwise can actually offer. So if you compare it to the Tesla Model Y and the Ford Mustang Mach-E, which both have cool infotainment systems, this one here does not. Usually then you would go for the Apple CarPlay or the Android Auto. And it's a cool remix, by the way. No, and he doesn't program the sounds here for Kia, just for BMW. Well, the thing is here, good sound system as well. Nice to listen to that. And then to this interesting lower area. First of all, some ambient lighting here, and then I would usually leave it like this. You have still a real knob for the climate unit. Yes, way to go, even 2-zone AC here. That's very cool, and you can also activate, deactivate the AC here. This is then the additional heating directly from the battery. It takes energy, but sometimes in winter you do need it, definitely. It does have a heat pump, by the way, on offer. Then that reduces the range effects in winter, like the range losses. Here you can then either hit this button or the upper one. It doesn't matter which one of these two fields you hit, and then it switches around. So, and then you have this hotkey menu for like the sat-nav or something, and this one becomes the volume knob. However, I mean, it's a cool, interesting idea to have both functions on that. Looking forward to your comments about that, but I would usually leave it in that way. Why? I want to control the temperature, and the volume I can also do on the steering wheel. And when I have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto in the infotainment system, then I use everything here with touch and don't need the hotkeys right here. So this is it for me, and probably I will not use the switch effect. Would you? Here, you can see how it switches. And here in the middle. Quite funny, isn't it? Then this is also easy to control, like the seat cooling and also heated steering wheel for wintertime, really cool. And also, by the way, efficient. It's more efficient to use heated steering wheel and heated seats than to heat up the whole air in the vehicle. This is the start-stop button and the gear shifter here for reverse or drive mode or for parking. As for the lower middle console, here left side USB-A, right side USB-C, and then you have this open area right there. And I have the cable, then the long cable running around here. There are special holders for that right here. You can see that. And then I put my smartphone here. That's actually on the inductive charging pad, but I don't use inductive charging because for Apple CarPlay and Android Auto you need the cable anyway, and with the cable also is faster charging. Then cup holders, adaptive, so they really thought about details. This is then the inductive charging pad, which I'm not using because I have the cable connection, and then a lot of space here also in the middle console. No middle tunnel, using that EV platform very well. That's how it's supposed to be. And we also have this nice black and white trim here with the microfiber. Inside of the doors at the rear, however, this is then hard. There's lots of space. Look at that. How much legroom I have here. And it's like the mid-size vehicle. The length is compared to like a Mercedes C-Class, for example. And this is like astonishingly really good. The seating area here, the bench is not the best, I would say. You see here the angle of my knees, not the best actually. Headroom wise works once again with one wheel A6 or 6 with 1, so you have a lot of space, but not, it's okay the seating position, but not the best, let's take it that way. Easily move around here also to the middle seat, so you can really easily go here. This seat is a little bit more backward at the moment, but you can go with 3 tall adults here, that's no problem actually. Isofix at the outside each, and you can also vary the angle here of the seat here, make it more upright or push it a little bit further in. And then in the middle part here you have cup holders. They are not adaptive though. Trunk area, something around 500 liters. It's not too different than the one of the Ioniq 5. So here the length barely a meter or 40 inches, and the width here also about a meter or 40 inches. Interesting is of course always the overall height right here, which is about 70 centimeters or 28 inches. Here the cabin trolley hardly fits in the vertical way. Yeah, that does fit by that. Here this thing does also fit over that, so that's still okay. And you have this easy access to the trunk. Here below, yeah, that could also work for a charging cable. And what's really nice, I'll reach over here, so that way, and That way you can release the seats and then you can load the thing through. Easy solution. And you see they fold really flat. By the way, they're also fixed then. You have to release them right here. And again, then you can fold them up again. Need 2 hands for that. And we have a frunk. See here, gas struts. And then there's this additional cover. Yay. It's actually quite well usable for a charging cable and whatever. So around 50 liters. Welcome to Thomas's Driving Lounge here with the Kia EV6, and you know, I'm a very German reviewer, and this is the most Germanish test for all the vehicles we have here. German Autobahn, the motorway. Let's go to the sport mode. You can see also the speed goes red, and this is the rear-wheel drive version with a big battery. We accelerate out from 40 kilometers an hour. Let's see when we have clear road. Next vehicle will pass, and then let's go. $120. So we had to cancel here for security reason, but that was 40 to 120, really good. And now let's do another, because now there's free again, 100 kilometers an hour. When we're already at speed, accelerate it out. So 150. Now let's see if we can go top speed. Let's see what top speed we can score here. So now we should be able to reach like 100, 180. Yeah, it goes a little bit further. 180. Oh, come on. Goes even further. Wow. 191. So almost 200 kilometers or 125 miles an hour. Pretty nice. And the rear-wheel drive version you've seen here is enough acceleration wise, you know. The all-wheel drive version is 2 seconds quicker in the acceleration, and the GT all-wheel drive would be almost 4 seconds quicker than just 3.5 seconds. So yeah, it's around 3 something, 5 something, and 7 something seconds. That's like the steps for that, but definitely more than enough here. And the good thing is, when you have the rear-wheel drive only, yeah, it might be worse for really like snowy weather conditions and so on. But then again, when you get out of the corners, it's definitely more fun because you have just the rear-wheel drive. That's the cool thing here. Now the tunnel here, that's cool. With some ambient lighting, you can see it also here in the lower middle console here. Pretty nice. Also then here, I really like that. So this gives atmosphere. Let's see, let's go to the normal mode. I would have suspected maybe changes with the driving mode, but it doesn't. That would have been cool actually, but yeah, very nice. And as for the driving modes, for example, in normal mode, you have softer steering. And when you are in the sport mode, not only the throttle pedal is reacting more sensitively, but here the steering also gets a little bit stiffer. Overall, a very good steering feeling. In the normal mode, maybe it's a little bit too soft for me, so I like the steering feeling in the sport mode better. It gives just more accurate control of the car, I feel. Very important here is the suspension. And this is also the only thing I found better in the IONIQ 5 in comparison to the EV6. So I talked to the suspension tester before, and he said actually, yeah, they did a lot of special tweaks with the suspension to make it sportier, and yeah, I mean, this is the case indeed. It feels really nice and agile, has a little shorter wheelbase than the IONIQ 5. Soon I'll also go in some S-bends, in some chicanes, to test the agility of the car even more. But when you're normal like city traffic or also motorway driving, the suspension is less comfortable than in the IONIQ 5. So that's the only catch really I could find with this vehicle in comparison to the IONIQ 5. So to me, it's a little bit too stiff when you're driving over some bumps. That's also overall one of the very, very rare criticism factors I could find with this vehicle here today. So the most crucial thing when you pick this vehicle is stick with the smallest wheels possible. We have the 19-inch wheels here, and it's already not that plush. So, and when you go like 20 inch is an option, or when you have the GT in 21 inch, no way. if you buy the Kia EV6. That one, hey, maybe they should have called the GT version Kia EV6. Like, yo, 6-speed, y'all. Sorry about that. So if you buy the Kia EV6, go with 19-inch wheels. You will thank me for that, to have more comfort in everyday driving life. You see that sign there? That is the very famous German traffic sign for unlimited speed. Plop. We went from 80 kilometers an hour. Let's put the speed one more time and listen to the noise insulation, and it's really good. Now at 150 kilometers an hour, wow. Extremely good. The sound insulation and you can literally also feel the wind efficiency. So also in comparison to the Ioniq 5, the Kia EV6 is a little bit more wind efficient. That's why the range figures will be also a little bit better. And noise insulation wise, this can easily keep up with German high-class premium vehicles. I'm really surprised how silent this one is at high speeds. Wow, didn't expect that. I mean, I didn't expect it to be better in any way, but this is really astonishingly good, and also indeed way better than the Ioniq 5. And the funny thing is, when I was driving this one in the city earlier at lower speeds, now that was 160 kilometers an hour, that's like for Germans, like, okay, let's go to work. So when you are actually driving in the city, I also already felt, wow, this is really cozy and silent. And this also brings me to the aspect back again, Ioniq 5 or Kia EV6. I would go for this one. As I said, the only thing I could find is the suspension is a little bit rougher. It's not that the Ioniq 5 suspension would be the best and softest or something. They also do not have adaptive suspension available. But here, I think, due to the better noise insulation, here the climate control, which I can directly access while driving. I leave it that way, once again, by the way, to use the climate knob here and the volume knob here at the steering wheel. That's a perfect setup. I do not need to switch it then around. So it brings just a calmer feeling. The noise insulation is so good. Maybe also because we have the microfiber seats here, that might also add a little bit more. And I said earlier, you have microfiber seats here, and they can be cooled. This is the best setup for a super hot summer day. So I'm really impressed by that. Very, very good setup, and of course animal-free interior completely. So this package they put together here, super good. Two things are missing that are still quite crucial. Well, actually three. Assistance systems, recuperation, and also more agile driving in very tight corners. Let's begin by the recuperation. So I set it to the max recuperation usually. It means I leave my foot off the throttle, and then we have strong recuperation, one pedal driving feeling. So you can maybe most of the time leave out the brake pedal. The only thing is that when you start the car, it gets reset to the level 3 at least. Not sure why they do that. So here level 3, level 2, level 1 or level 0. And when you have level 0 and you leave your foot off the throttle, it just rolls, and then you use recuperation via the brakes. It's not that there is less recuperation. It's just done via the brake pedal then, and only when you need even more braking power, then the real brakes of the vehicle are applied. Well, I tend to have the electric vehicles in maximum recuperation, but then, especially when someone is next to me, be gentle with the throttle, both in pressing and releasing it, because there's so much G-force applied. The electric vehicles are so fast, so spontaneous in the acceleration, that it really takes a lot of the passengers then. So you need to learn driving the EVs properly, not to apply too much G-forces then to your passengers. And you can get accustomed to that pretty easily. It's a little bit like learning the clutch, both in a car or in electric vehicle. Sorry, both in cars and in motorcycles, I meant. Just the feeling for that, a very sensitive feeling in controlling that. As for the assistance systems, we maybe seen the blind spot monitor when we were on the motorway. Then you can also set cruise control here, left side of the steering wheel. So far, so good. Also has an active lane keeping assist that is predominantly working on the motorway and did so far quite a smooth job. And of course, the agile driving, that is to come now at the very later stages here of our driving part. But what about that concise range? Well, now that was like a super high-speed motorway drive and so on, but earlier I did a longer normal test drive and we were scoring some 21 kilowatt hours on 100 kilometers. So yeah, that's like some 27 kilowatt hours on 100 miles. It means we can, even here in winter times, come close to some 400 kilometers or 250 miles. When it's really cold and you use a lot of heating, then it will be a little bit less. However, when we now compare that to our driving test with the Ioniq 5, indeed, some range advantages here for the Kia EV6. The consumption figure is indeed a little bit lower, and yeah, it's just the fact that the building style, the building form of this vehicle is a little bit better, for the wind flow. Yeah, very interesting, because the rest of the technology, the electric motors and so on, battery, they are actually all the same. Once again, a little shorter wheelbase, but a little more overall length than the Ioniq 5. And yeah, it's strange. On the one hand, it feels a little bit sportier, also due to the stiffer suspension setup. And on the other hand, you'd somehow feel there's more tail moving, But overall, the interesting thing to me is also, although Ioniq 5 and Kia EV6 look so different on the outside, sitting on the inside, even though we have a lot of small advantages for this one here, they come very close. You feel the same platform. You feel they use the same technology. So they're coming closer in the feeling than like 50 kilometers an hour speed limit here. And actually, like exactly on this point, the police is frequently doing speed camera radar. Maybe I still much money, wants to pay some more to the police. Yeah, live on Autogefühl. So indeed, Ioniq 5, Kia EV6, they come close. In a way closer than I thought, but definitely all the small details we've been finding clearly says for me, this one here is the way to go in that comparison. So here you can see how the lane keeping assist keeps the car in a lane, even in a bend. Yes, keep your hands on the steering wheel, evil Thomas. But also in a very smooth way, like not with constant corrections and so on. So I'm really happy with that, actually. And it's not even a motorway here, and usually it works better on motorways. And these systems have more problems when you're not on a motorway. And also, like touching the steering wheel, it seems also be enough. Don't even have to control it. Here now I help a little bit. That's, yeah, I don't trust in it like 100%. You shouldn't yet. Maybe in a couple of years. But let's see. If this, I'm not steering. Okay, I'm steering. Don't want to take the chances, but overall you see in slight bends it did actually a quite good job. But now, what about the sharper bends? We put the sport mode once again, and here rough road. Yeah, there you feel that one disadvantage, that the sporty feeling of the suspension, gets a little bit rough then in the potholes. So that's not that good actually. But here, really fun in these bends. Oh, it's a little bit red road here as well. So nice acceleration out of the corners. Even ESC was on there in that respect. Interesting. So here once again, next left. Nice agile feeling. Oh, it's really, regulating quite a lot when I'm here on the... Interesting. Let's see. Traction control disabled. Ah, there we go. Yeah, sorry about that. So, but I mean, it's a good thing to know that when you say, oh, it's rear drive only, is it like too slippery or something? Here now, when, yeah, there we go. When traction control is like on ESC Sport, I mean, it says traction control disabled. This doesn't seem to be like a step in between. Ah, there we go. Traction control and ESC disabled. Okay, that's when you hold it. So there are 2 steps indeed. So the first thing is like an ESC Sport. So there's still some electronic regulation, but I think we leave these trucks by. Let's see. So when you have the smaller car, always try to make way for the bigger ones because they can't move that much. So let's see, and we can also test the rear view camera, which has a nice resolution, and you see that the car is also agile enough. There we go. Yeah, they were happy about that. So always be nice to others on the road, then others will also be nice to you. Once again, we have some more bands coming ahead. It's really a lot of fun. Let me put it to ESC Sport again. That was a lot of fun. So really surprised that when the ESC is on, and I was just slightly hitting the throttle, it was really limiting the power. So, but the good thing is, when you think about, I go for rear drive only, maybe it gets too slippery in winter times or something, the electronic helpers are really in place and they help you a lot by that, you know. So that's actually a good thing, because when you want to have it a little bit more loose, then you can go in this ESC Sport mode. ESC off, of course, I do not recommend for public roads at all. That's not safe enough. Maybe just when you're in an empty parking lot or something. But here, a lot of fun in these bends. And then, yeah, here we can also properly accelerate out. But it's not that it would get out of control with the ESC Sport mode or something. Really a lot of fun. Definitely more fun than the Ioniq 5. Yeah, one of the most fun EVs here as well. So, fun factor, definitely also guaranteed here. But what about now when we think about the others, the other competitors, the others from Lost? So in our big EV comparison episode, maybe tune into that one if you haven't seen it yet, I was really rating the Tesla Model Y and the Ford Mustang Mach-E, very high. Tesla Model Y has better range, better efficiency, and more space on the interior overall. However, no head-up display and no instruments. The Ford Mustang Mach-E, from the package it offers, comes very close to this one. It's a very good all-round, like everything you need, like cool styling on the exterior, great driving fun, animal-free interior, has a great infotainment system, which you can very reduce even the car internal GPS. Hey, wait a minute. That's the problem here. Mainly Apple Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. So if a car internal GPS is important for you, the infotainment system is more modern and better with the Ford. That's the main difference between these two, and also the Ford sits higher. It feels more SUV-ish while driving. This one here, more crossover-ish, not exactly the SUV feeling. And yeah, that felt a little bit better to me in the Ford, I think. However, both are very comfortable as for the seat ergonomics. That's also better here in the EV6 than in the Ioniq 5, I feel. That the seat while driving is also more comfortable. And also here this microfiber top surface makes the ride even a little bit plusher and cozier. So really very, very good. It's a very tough decision. So indeed I have to say that my favorite 3 electric vehicles, as for the ones that are somehow affordable, of course there's like the BMW iX, which is an excellent electric vehicle, but it's really big and extremely expensive. It won't matter to most customers, or like the Mercedes EQS has of course better range, like a Tesla Model S, but that's not the segment we are comparing. We are comparing the segment which is at the moment not cheap, but more affordable than the very high luxury SUVs, EVs, or EV SUVs. So in this very segment here, definitely my top 3 are now the Ford Mustang Mach-E, the Tesla Model Y, and here the Kia EV6. In which order? That's a really tough question. So is it the best SUV? I always mix them EV and SUV because there are a lot of EV SUVs here. So is it the best EV at this moment? Well, suspension could be a little bit more comfortable. Infotainment system could be a little bit better. Other than that, it's really, really good. Super comfortable. Range is also fine. Very silent. So for me, it would come down to, if range is the factor for me, you still have to go for the Tesla Model Y, and of course range in combination with their supercharging network. If that's the crucial thing, the Tesla Model Y still wins it. If that's not the crucial thing and you think like, I don't want to drive without instruments or head-up display, then the Tesla is out. And then to me it's really between the Ford Mustang Mach-E and this one here, the Kia EV6. And which one of these, I would probably try to get offers from dealers and see how they compare. I really like driving both. So to me, they feel kind of equal. The Ford Mustang Mach-E, the higher seating position, if that's more important to you, then that's maybe the thing. Here, this one here offers better fast charging when the battery is preheated. That might be an argument for that. Yeah, but overall, I think if it's the top number one EV, that really depends on the individual thing you need, but definitely among the best, no doubt. You should tune in to our Ioniq 5 review, or if you want to see even more EVs as comparison, like I told you about, we also have our big EV comparison episode. See you there.